on the way. God bless Amazon.
It's good exercise too. It's like
I'm legitimately nervous that there's actually a kayak headed to my apartment right now, but yes, I'm somewhat. He says he actually shipped his kayak. Oh Lord!
you got a rack. You got a rack on top of the Land Rover. Like, is that a thing?
No, but it's an inflatable kayak.
What?
I have no
idea, Jack.
What have we done?
I don't know. It sounds cool though.
Us is just like, hey, if we can strap a camera to it, I'm down.
I mean, I can strap a camera to just about anything. So, or my daughter ice skates, and I want to strap a camera to her ice skate. Wouldn't that be a cool view of somebody ice skating? That'd be an amazing view.
I feel like I saw a commercial during the NHL playoffs where they were sticking cameras to their ice skates and things like that. That's totally cool.
That would be cool.
Drone racing camera onto ice skates.
That is exactly right. That you think I'm kidding? I'm not kidding.
No, I don't believe that you're not kidding.
There's a guy on YouTube who'll put a GoPro like in a car tire or just in insane places. And yeah, Das, I think you're rapidly reaching that point. Let us never ever doubt your ability to put a camera somewhere.
I mean, I gotta specify, like, putting a camera somewhere is one thing. Like, I strap a GoPro to something, whatever. It's in the wheel well. That's fantastic. I want the live feed off. I want to be able to share whatever's happening with y'all live, like 7 seconds shy of live is what I'm looking for. So, it's too much fun, y'all. I'm gonna say again, thank you so much for supporting us so that we can do this, because we kid about it. It's like, oh, no, so what's another camera? And it's like, well, quite often more cameras do show up, and then we do cool things with them. So I appreciate everybody for letting us do this, because this really is a community effort. Y'all help support us, and then we have wacky ideas and beat them over the head with super chats until they work.
Confirmed. Here's another super chat from Philip. Patrick Air Force Base still providing launch details for both SXM7 and Roll 44. Do we think it now might be both? We know it can't be both. They're too close together. The range cannot support those two launches back to back like that. Turn. And we'll keep an eye out for an update on that front. We know NROL 44 is a national security mission and would thus normally get range priority, although it's also worth noting that Delta 4 Heavy has aborted a couple times for this launch. And SpaceX did have the range first, so it's possible that they'll give SpaceX priority. Or it's possible one of the missions will delay for a completely unrelated reason to range priority, and thus the range priority argument doesn't actually matter. But we know it won't be both on Thursday. It'll be one or the other. I'm sorry, did I interrupt someone there?
No, I just said nice. I'm sorry, Thomas.
Oh, okay.
It does look like some of the ice is melting there. The frosting melting on the side of the...
When the road is reopened and people, or the pad is reopened, I should say, and people return to the pad. But until then, I think we'll keep an eye on Starship. I don't know what our plan is, but I figure that's what it is.
It's beautiful out there right now. I mean,
it is.
As long as everybody out in the field is good to go, I'm happy to keep showing these views, because it is really nice.
And the question queue continues to grow. So I got to start getting through these. Some of these are literally 2 hours old. You guys are asking questions so fast. I apologize. I'm trying to get to them as quickly as I can while still actually answering the questions. We really do appreciate it. We hope you're hanging out to talk about all this stuff with us. Let's see here. Try to find some good ones here. Well, SpaceX have drone footage, even though it's a no-drone zone. So it's a no-drone zone for everyone but SpaceX. SpaceX uses a drone to do their inspections and things like that. And we know they've posted some drone video before of like the SM5 and SM6 hubs and maybe even Starhopper. So I bet we'll see SpaceX drone video. Would not rule that out at all. You just can't fly your own drones there, if that makes sense. But I think we'll see that. And then, yeah, some people asking about the countdown on the SpaceX stream and the fact that it's off. Yeah, we know SpaceX scheduled their stream for slightly the wrong time. Sometimes it happens. It's not a big deal. That time that the SpaceX stream is counting down to is not when the opening of the window happens tomorrow. It's a couple hours off. So stay tuned for updates from SpaceX, updates from us on social media. And when we go live, you'll know that we have seen visual cues or updates to suggest that we're getting close to actual action. The schedule is very fluid. It could happen at almost any time during the day tomorrow. So stay tuned for more updates on that. Oh boy, we have a shuttle question. I guess we should ask Chris this. Although I think I might know the answer. We were talking about this. Did free flight drop like approach and landing tests, right, Chris?
Yes, with the Enterprise off of the 747. Yes.
I guess that's close to shuttle got to like hop tests or something like that, right? Was there anything else like that?
So yes, the first part of that is correct. That's the closest the shuttle ever got. One of the things about the shuttle program is that its first flight was literally its first integrated flight. The first time that the orbiter and the tank and the boosters ever flew together was STS-1. There was an original plan for STS-1 with John Young and Bob Crippen to fly a return to launch site abort profile to test and certify that particular abort mode. And I believe it was John Young who was quoted years after the fact of saying, "Let's not tempt fate and just proceed onto orbit."
Chris, John Young said more than "let's not tempt fate." He's known for his hilarious quotes and just really succinct ways of putting things. And I believe it's something along the lines of RTLS requires continuous miracles interspersed with acts of God to be successful. Yeah. Something along those lines, and it's absolutely true. A shuttle RTLS would have been. I think the phrase you're thinking of is "let's not play Russian roulette." Is what?
Yes, that's it.
What John Young said. So John Young, ever the eloquent astronaut.
Yeah, I mean, and honestly, I mean, what you were just saying there, Jack, about like the fear of an RTLS on the shuttle program. I mean, that's why every time you would get like 4 minutes into a flight and you would hear that they had transoceanic landing capability in Europe or Africa, where you just breathed a huge sigh of relief during those liftoffs.
So there you go. A couple more super chats came here. Actually, Timothy with the new membership. Thank you so much for joining up there. Lynn with the super chat. Flight versus hop versus flight. Hopefully after tomorrow we won't be calling it a flop. I see your point and I concur. Thank you so much for your super chat there. And Paulus, we were talking about the first sort of Starship missions to Mars. I have a theory for the first supply missions to Mars: Starship, fuel tank, and nose cone with the cargo and habitat. Separation fuel tank next to the habitat. Not sure. Of course, it depends on how you're going to deploy your surface habitat. If you have some robotic rovers or something like that, or if you're going to wait till crew get there, and the crew kind of live out of Starship for a few days while they build a more permanent habitat, somewhat separated from the vehicle. Most the vehicle can just vent its propellant, so you don't have an explosive fuel tank there, assuming that the landing goes nominally. So that's another thing to consider. But yeah, I like I mentioned earlier, it'll be very interesting to get some details on what SpaceX's plans for their first Mars landings really is. And Steen Larson with the new membership, thank you so much for the support. Everyone who's doing memberships and super chats and everything, we really do appreciate it. This is awesome.
No, there's a question that just popped up in chat, specifically about what we were just talking about with return to launch site landings. But I had mentioned the transoceanic landing sites in Europe, and Philip had a question about which ones there were. The shuttle program had contingency runways around the world that they could use if they really got into an issue. There's
huge volume containing all of the possible sites they could use. But the 3 that were certified for use in the program that were in Europe were in Istria, France, Zaragoza, Spain, and Rome, Spain. And then there were a few along the western coast of Africa too, for the early program equatorial flights.
I think we've hit our daily dose of shuttle facts on the NSF live stream. If someone's taking that off the bingo card, by the way, definitely hit that quota today.
Recommend
Prep 2
daily
for more
allowance.
shuttle facts.
Yeah, right. Thank you for subscribing to Shuttle Facts.
Awesome.
You laugh, I could provide them.
No, we know. The guys, like, literally, you can talk to Chris and be like, I saw this one shuttle launch a couple years ago, but I don't remember what it was. And it was like, I think it was a night launch during. Name every possible mission it might have been, because the guy's a walking shuttle encyclopedia.
I still have, Chris, you remember that time we walked around Atlantis? And we live streamed on my Twitch channel, and it was just like, hang out, talk about the shuttle. I still have that.
I do.
Raw video. So
Day. Yeah.
one day we need to toss that to the editors and see if they can clean it up, and that'd be a cool extra thing to release one day, maybe.
Yes.
Would, actually.
Speaking on behalf of the editors, yes.
Yes. I mean, literally, Chris G just met up with me at the visitor center, Kennedy Space Center visitors complex, and we got permission from their team, their PR team, to just walk around Atlantis, and it was a live stream on my Twitch channel, and it was just Chris talking about source footage from that, the original footage. So that'd be cool. I don't know how I remember that.
You know,
that was like one of your virtual field trips, right? Because like we had like the front page of Twitch, and they had delayed a launch or something like that. So we did the Atlantis trip instead. I think
That's exactly right. Flexing over because they delayed a launch, and they gave us permission to walk around Atlantis with our cameras. Yeah.
really cool, in addition to the video you're talking about, is if we deployed the NSF Hivemind and team that is all across the world and US to check out each of the orbiters, just do like a one massive video of like the orbiters, where are they now? I can check up on each of them in their respective viewing locations, and I don't know. I don't think I've seen anything like that. That would be really cool.
It really would be cool. I mean, especially once they get Endeavor's facility built in Los Angeles, because I don't know if they all talk, if the Smithsonian and Kennedy and California Science Center all talked to one another, but the fact that the 3 flight-worthy orbiters are displayed in the 3 possible flight configurations of launch, orbit, and landing is a really freaking cool thing that managed to come out of this for their museum locations.
And as sad as I am going to be when they finally get Endeavor vertical at the planned arrangement for Los Angeles, because it's so cool to be able to go and kind of walk under it and be so close to it. It's insane how close you can get to it at the California Science Center. Even though I'm just going to be sad for the current era to be over, it is truly going to look outstanding when it is vertical on the full stack.
So anyway, back to Starship.
Lox tank looks nearly completely defrosted now. Only a little bit of frost remaining, so tank's probably empty at this point.
Yeah, I mean, there's really no tank farm activity. The ice is the ice frost is melting away. It almost looks like the sunward side that's getting a little bit more sun is
Right,
melting
yeah.
a little bit more rapidly there, if I had to guess. But it does look like they may be done with that operation. I wonder if they're done with everything.
Do have a super chat here for the Paint Jacks Rover Fund. Thank you so much for Wait W4I.
Oh, is that for the
Yeah,
360 video?
I did this thing when I got my Land Rover where I was like, I like the way that it looks dirty. And everyone around me was like, you're gonna ruin your clear coat. And I was like, I like the way that it looks dirty. And yeah, well, here we are. And also, Land Rovers are just notorious for getting kind of cruddy paint on the roof there. I guess it's a common problem. So actually, one of my next home improvement kind of things to do is sand the Land Rover and then just hit it with a coat of primer. Just like primer black, sand all the old clear coat off. So thank you for the super chat. It will look less bad in the future, I promise.
You should do it with like a bed liner or something. Coat the Land Rover with bed liner.
I might plasti dip it. I thought
Oh,
it would be
exactly.
cool to do a plasti dip because a lot of people
Yeah.
do that.
That's a thing. That's definitely a thing in Texas for sure. Like all the ranch trucks and brush trucks and stuff like that, they get scratched up when you're driving through the mesquite. So they literally just put like the plastic, the bed liner stuff on it. So
Yeah, function over form.
Diving back into the question queue here, how far can Starship go with orbital refueling, Jupiter or Saturn? It disappeared from my queue again, but to answer the question, I believe SpaceX has said, or at least Elon has said, that with orbital refueling, Starship can pretty much go anywhere in the solar system. Obviously, depending on how much payload you need to bring there, but with at least a minimum payload, it can get to the outer solar system. So, depending on what applications that could be used for, Starship can go pretty much anywhere in the solar system, assuming orbital refueling. That's the key to it.
And isn't orbital refueling how? Because I mean, SpaceX. I mean, on the website for Starship, fairness, have not looked at this is still on there. But I mean, the website definitely up until this morning said, 100 ton or 100,000 pounds, or what was the payload to anywhere in the solar system?
I'm pulling up the webpage to find out. Hold on.
Yeah, it was 100. Oh man, I really forget off the top of my head, but I mean it was impressive, and the only way that was possible was with orbital refueling.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I know the kind of stated payload capacity is 100 tons plus. I'm trying to figure out if they have a number more specifically for like interplanetary transport.
Well, I think what it used to say was 100 tons to any point in the solar system.
Right. Yeah. I think that's what the because you get the low Earth orbit and then you refuel and then you go wherever. So it's
right. You literally restart your delta V potential all over again from orbit, which is incredible.
Low Earth orbit, you can just sit there and wait for more fuel. So as long as you can get to low Earth orbit, you can then get that mess anywhere else once you refuel. So
The website changed today.
Yeah.
The little blurb they added to it. I'm looking for it now. It's absolutely it. I mean, talk about getting excited for the launch. Let me see if I can find it. I'm failing miserably.
It does say 100 metric tons to Earth orbit.
Yes.
So it does specify now. But again, I guess you could.
But yeah, if you refuel at that point, then you can go anywhere from there. So go ahead.
Somebody on our Discord was telling me there's venting from the right half flap. I missed it myself. I'm rewinding. It could have been an RCS firing though. But I didn't see it. Oh, I do see it now. Yeah, it was like straight up. That's interesting.
Where are you looking at? The fin, where those fins were venting earlier?
Just to the left of the right half flap. It's not happening right now, but if you use your arrow keys to rewind the stream a few seconds. Or a few times. It was at 520. Huh.
Well, we'll have to keep an eye on that. We know they're probably well into detanking operations. There's some venting kind of near the base of the vehicle. I don't know if that's a tank farm or something. But they're likely wrapping things up. Maybe some final depress venting. I don't know.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm waiting on now. Is that big sustained double vent from the middle of the vehicle?
Which, I mean, we had some of that earlier when it was still frosty, so it might be mostly depressed.
I'm still hoping we're going to see them flap the flaps.
That would be cool.
That's kind of why we're not taking the stream down yet, even though the main test is obviously over. But again, we just saw some interesting venting, and we don't know if they're going to test the flaps at the end of this test.
Question here from King: landing burn 1 or 3 engines? I feel like we're expecting 2 engines because of how they were doing the static fires, right?
Yep. I mean, also based on an Everyday Astronaut article, 1 engine to light and initiate the flip, and then 2 engines during the landing burn. So there could be 3 engines burning for a brief moment, but it seems like a 1-2 kind of punch situation.
Y'all don't need me for anything, do you?
Wow, you playing with cameras?
I don't know if anybody has looked on the other stream, the stakeout stream, but Brady and I have been working on something on that other stream. I'll see if I can show it on this stream shortly. I'm just sorry, I was a little preoccupied there. Is everything good? Everything's cool?
Yeah, I think we're good.
Okay, cool, thanks.
Chat is telling me that they already tested the flaps, and I know that, but I want to see it happen while we're live. And possibly at a higher rate than the earlier test. The earlier test was quite a slow rate. I want to see some like rapid flapping, as you would probably be doing as you're coming down. It looks like Goss is designing a thumbnail.
I am. I'm live designing a thumbnail. You're exactly right.
That's right. You guys were talking about this earlier.
Yeah. It's all good. I'll display it here just really briefly, but I think we're all good.
Racing MHF asking if it's possible that an aircraft could be in danger during the Starship flight. That is the purpose of a temporary flight restriction, which we've been talking about before. The airspace around the area for the launch is actually closed to air traffic so that they don't interfere with one another. No, the SpaceX has been working with the FAA to close the airspace in the area so as to prevent any problems with air traffic. Nice to us.
What? Did you go and look?
Yeah. Can we please show that?
I'm working on it.
Okay.
It's in work. Y'all keep talking.
Yeah. Another question here: how many people can Starship carry in the future? The aspirational goal has always been 100 passengers. That might not be for the initial operation.
I think 50 was the last they said
Oh, really?
publicly. Yeah, that it had come way down.
I mean, that makes sense given the size of Starship. I think a lot of people were really skeptical that it could ever hold 100 with its current size.
Well, I think it's one thing where I think the 50 was specifically for the interplanetary missions coming down.
Okay.
Obviously, if we were talking about something slightly different than interplanetary, it might be able to hold more. But I do remember 50 being noted for the interplanetary missions.
Well, there you go. But yeah, so tens of passengers, not hundreds yet.
Literally tens of passengers.
Let's see here. And yeah, some more people asking, are the flaps in the flight configuration? We don't really know. Because they did their wedges rehearsal with the flaps in this configuration, assuming they were simulating the countdown to the flight, I would imagine that the flaps are going to be in this configuration during the initial ascent. But that's not really confirmed yet. We'll have to wait and see tomorrow what they do. Aha! Going back to a conversation we had earlier about upper stages kind of flying on their own power before the lower stages are finished. Buran flew under its jet engine power during its initial tests before it launched to space. I know it's not under rocket power, but that kind of counts. I don't know if that counts, but
I know
that's a good point.
because they're not the engines that you flight.
Right.
People were also pointing out that portions of the Saturn flew. Like the third stage flew before a second stage flew on some of the weird Saturn configurations that they had as they were testing that program
the
as well.
Third stage is just the Saturn 1 upper stage, so that flew first there. Just like the Centaur stage that's now in Atlas V flew on other rockets before the Atlas V booster was developed, so similar to that.
All right, are y'all ready for adventures in robotic camera operation?
Absolutely.
Do you know how long it took me to get this live shot aligned exactly right?
So
Brady,
that's not a picture. They overlay. So if I understand, so you overlay the text onto the live shot so you can make a thumbnail.
That is exactly right. Instead of just editing a thumbnail like a normal human being, I had Brady give me the title with a clear background, like clear alpha in the background, and then I put it over the live camera on the live stream. And this is actually the live camera right now. I don't want to mess it up because it took me forever to do this, but let's see how accurately the robot returns to the program position. I've got this stored as a program position. Let's see how good the servos are.
Can you zoom into the O?
I can't zoom into the O. I don't have that set up. But there, see, that's a live camera behind it. And if I tell it to resume that position, let me see what it does. Is it going to go back to the same spot? Survey says, hey. Nice. So if I tell it to go to the production site, let's look here. Here's the production site zoom. Oh, it missed the production site. Oh, it's the wrong production site. That's why I clicked on the wrong one. Okay, so this is off one side. Looks like the camera's a little bit. Let it focus. Come on. I mean, honestly, this works as well with the high bay in the background. Like, I'm okay with it. And if I tell it to go back to here, let's see how close it is to the return. Oh, come on. Not quite. Close.
Yeah, a little close.
A little bit off. All right, that's all good. Anyways, back to the sunset. Sorry, y'all.
That's cool though.
And so we took a screenshot of that. The next time you see the thumbnail, for whatever reason we need to do a Starship stakeout, you can see how it was created using a live camera and an image with a clear background.
That's funny. Here we go. Will SpaceX develop other rockets or spacecraft after Starship? Huh. Cool.
At the rate they're going, warp drive is next.
I mean, we know Elon has said that they want to scale up the Starship vehicle to larger vehicles of similar design later on. I don't know if that counts as new rockets or spacecraft.
But I'm sorry, even that alone,
Yeah.
you stand close to just what you're looking at right here, not stacked on Super Heavy, which is 70 meters tall itself, before you put this on top of that. This one's 50 meters. This is mind-bogglingly big in and of itself. The fact that they're talking about larger scale versions of these things is I mean, it's incredible, but I mean, the size of this is just mind-blowing already.
Some more questions here. Does SN8 go full throttle all the way? So the engine burn will not last all the way till 12.5 maximum altitude of 12.5 kilometers, which means that the engines will shut down before then, and its upward momentum will carry it the rest of the way towards its apogee of 12.5 kilometers, or its highest point. So, Jake Krause with the super chat saying he's in South Padre Island. Who do I follow for the exact alert for the launch time? Thanks for the coverage. So if you follow at NASA Spaceflight, we will be providing real-time updates as soon as we get them on the status of official coverage of the flight as well, even though it's a test flight. So they will probably have some more information. So that would be our two recommendations to get the most up-to-date alerts for how the launch is proceeding for tomorrow. That's at NASA Spaceflight on Twitter and at SpaceX on Twitter are probably your best sources there. Of course, if you subscribe and follow us here on the YouTube channel, we will be live covering that. So when we go live, that means we're getting close to the flight happening as well. So that's another way you can follow it as well. Do we think that Starship will go to the ISS one day? We know that SpaceX wants Starship to kind of cannibalize the Dragon and Falcon fleet, make them obsolete, and make Starship take up that role, because once fully reusable and operational, Starship is expected to be less expensive for launch. So do we think that we'll see Starship taking over space station logistics in the future?
I don't foresee that unless they make like a smaller shuttle. I think that it would be pretty dangerous to try and dock Starship to station, and the amount of station keeping that you need to allow those two things to sort of meet up, I'm not sure that technically that's something that's possible, because Starship has bigger internal volume than the station. Yeah. Starship is massive, right? It's bigger than the station, I think you could say. It's like by volume or by mass or by whatever, right? It's huge. And even if you were to dock a Starship to the station, there's no way that the supplies that you would put in a Starship would fit inside the station. Does that make sense? Like, you're not going to use it to send 6 astronauts up.
Right.
I don't know. I guess, would you? Question mark? You know?
Yeah, I don't know. That's a good point. I mean, in the future, at some point, the ISS will be retired, and maybe we'll replace that with a new low Earth orbit station. Maybe if there's one that's bigger, or they kind of design it with that in mind, maybe. I mean, Starship's main purpose is interplanetary transport. So as long as it's filling that goal, any other rules is kind of like a bonus, I would say. And SpaceX has said, they'll keep the Falcon and Dragon fleet operational for as long as customers want them. So if it turns out the Starship isn't great. I think that's a good point.
And just all the different views here. Mary sort of got the sun at her back here, right? So the sun is setting behind Mary's camera, and we're going to start to get more and more lighting on Starship here. And then Jack is over 90 degrees on the side, and you can sort of see Jack's different perspective there, right? It's starting to get a little bit of a sunset effect there, where Mary's still getting the full light. On the side of the spacecraft. So it's a nice day down there, y'all. It is a really nice day.
Yeah, it really is a nice one. And if you can think of it, like a clock. If Mary was at 6 o'clock, I'm at.
Yep, that's exactly right.
So we came here expecting a wet dress rehearsal, and it appears that we have seen exactly that go on. And it looks like they have detanked. Of course, the tanks are no longer frosty or anything like that. The pad is still closed. What is our plan for keeping an eye on this? Are we going to wait till the pad reopens, or what are we thinking?
I'm not sure on that one. I mean, it's a nice day out there, but I know tomorrow is going to be a very big day as well. So having everybody being out and about. It may be, I mean, one way or the other, the robot over at South Padre Island is going to stay online. So that stream is going to be up in terms of providing commentary until sundown. What are we doing? What time is sundown out there at South Padre today?
It's going down right now. Like literally in the next minute. I think it's 5:37 or 5:38 local. Yeah. It's 5:36 right now.
Gotcha. It's up to y'all. One way or the other, we're going to keep that Starship stakeout stream going with the sunset view there from South Padre Island. So we can certainly spool down the commentary. It looks like we did get to the end of the super chat queue. Of course, as soon as I said that, somebody did a super chat. Web Finder, thanks for the CLP. $8,900 CLP. Anybody want to Google all
I'll
that?
Google it. Hold on.
Thank you.
It's over 8,000.
Well, it is.
Chilean pesos.
Chilean pesos. Well, Web Finder, thank you.
Which is about 12 US bucks.
Appreciate it. All right. But we've cleared out the super chat queue. We could always sit here like 24/7 answering questions and stuff like that. Look at this. God. Got the sunset view going on there. Like Jack said, the sun is just about going down. But in terms of commentary and cutting loose people, I think we're good to start wrapping it up here. That's a question mark at the end of that. I don't know. What do y'all think?
I think we've seen what we're going to see, to be honest.
Yeah, fair enough.
A huge thank you to everyone. I mean, we had so many super chats and donations and things during the stream. Thank you so much for all that support. We're just love that you guys support us so much, and we get to keep doing this kind of stuff. And thanks for just hanging out. And hopefully, of course, we'll have to wait. Maybe we'll get an Elon tweet or something. But hopefully tonight was the final big milestone test before SN8 takes to the skies tomorrow.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, it would be fantastic if we get weather like today, and the winds and everything's good tomorrow, and everything technically works out for SpaceX. It would be a beautiful day for a Starship to take a little flight. So,
yep.
Is there anybody else here?
Yeah,
Jack,
I can reiterate what you guys just wanted. It's going to be exciting tomorrow. Hopefully the weather is as good as it is tomorrow as it was today. And hopefully they are able to get at least an attempt for a 12.5 kilometer hop under their belts tomorrow. I know we all are anxious to see it. And one final time and one final note, it's just important to note, this is a developmental test. If things don't go 100% right, as long as it gets off the pad and doesn't destroy the launch pad and infrastructure, it's a success. And even then, if they learned enough from that, it's a success. So just always important to reiterate, it's a test program. They are doing flight testing, and sometimes during flight testing, things go wrong. So no matter what happens tomorrow, I know we're all super excited to see the events that occur, and just important to, as mainstream media does its whole, oh, SpaceX blows up rocket in South Texas dance, we keep a level head and make sure our friends and family know that it's a developmental test of a developmental rocket program, and this is part of the road to getting back to the moon and getting to Mars, and this is all we want to see. So just a small note to keep the people that that might be sort of aware of this stuff but not completely aware of this stuff informed that tomorrow is a big day, and we're all very excited to see whatever occurs. But no matter what happens, it's going to be a learning opportunity, and it's just one step on this awesome staircase that we are all climbing together as we work towards Mars.
Yeah, sounds good to me, Jack. That sounds really good, y'all. I do believe that is going to mark. Correct me if I'm wrong, but we're going to go ahead and spool down our commentated broadcasts here, and we will continue to leave that Starship Stakeout stream online, but we will be spooling this stream down. So if you want to watch Starship SN8 all the way down to sunset from the robot that's positioned over Padre Island, here is the link. I am putting it in chat. That's me, K Space Academy. Oh, did I put it in the wrong? I put it in the wrong link, the wrong stream. There you go. So if y'all want to join us over that way, we'll keep that one going. That one's sort of unattended. It's just the robot hanging out, providing live feed. But we are going to go ahead and end our live coverage of hopefully the day before Starship's 12.5 kilometer hop. Did I miss anything else? Go around the horn?
Sure.
What were you saying, Thomas? Go ahead. Sorry.
I'm just saying, yeah, hopefully tomorrow. I mean, obviously, stay tuned for updates because the schedule is fluid. The technical issue could come up, weather could come up, who knows. But hopefully tomorrow we will have a flight opportunity and a launch attempt for Starship SN8, and it'll be very exciting. So thanks for tuning in tonight. Thanks, and hopefully you'll tune in with us.
Joining us here today, of course, we had this fantastic view courtesy of Boca Chica Gal. She's got the up close and personal camera. We're so spoiled with this camera. However many other cameras we add, we have been spoiled by Mary and how close she is and how nice this camera that she operates is out there. Not just in the live streams, but in the daily videos that come out, all the sunrises and reflections in the water and all the different ways that she's helped you experience Starship. Give it up for Boca Chica Gal, y'all. Put it in chat. Say thank you to Mary, because she is the reason that we know what's going on down there at Boca Chica. I'm just wait until we see. Yeah, there you go. Lots of people saying thank you, Mary. You can follow her on Twitter. She's at Boca Chica Gal up in the upper right-hand corner of the screen. If you want to keep apprised of the latest breaking photos and videos and stuff like that coming out of Boca Chica, you should follow her because she's taking them. That's what I like to see, y'all. Also here commentating, dude. Thomas, thank you so much for holding it down today while I was watching all my robot children.
No problem. Always a pleasure.
All right. Thomas Burkhardt, live stream commentator, editor. This is the last time you wrote a story, man.
Hey, I wrote one like a couple days ago. Give me a break.
Oh, okay. Man. All right. Cool. All right. Well, thank you for writing stories, too. Thomas Burkhardt, y'all, TGMezFan98 on Twitter. Always a pleasure having you here, Thomas. Thank you so much for being a part of this.
Thank you, Das.
Who else we have? Out in the field, we've got Jack Beyer. Jack, are you still on? Yes, and look at this.
I sure am. And yep, there you go. Yep. Thanks everybody for watching. Thank you everybody so much for all of your support. And let's everybody cross your fingers that tomorrow is another beautiful day like today, and we get to see SN8 fly. If you want to follow me on Twitter, at the Jack Beyer on Twitter, click that little follow button. Also, hit like and subscribe if you like this stream. Like and subscribe on this channel. Thanks, everybody. Have a great night.
Andre asked if you've received your kayak yet, and how beefy are your forearms for rowing the kayak?
I'll tell you one thing: they're going to get a lot more beefy. We're going to have to do a live stream from the kayak at some point to appease Andre, even if it's just like from my phone and preserving the expensive equipment on dry land. But we can do something to appease Andre for his demand from a live stream from the kayak. I mean, he just literally sent me a kayak, so we have to do something.
By the way, I added that part about your arms being beefy enough to row the kayak. That was editorial commentary. I just added that in. Anyways, Jack, thank you so much. Be safe out there at South Padre. Watch the crowds tomorrow. Be safe there as well, and thank you so much. Drove it all the way from.
It's 24 hours as Apple Maps flies, so it's longer than that with gas and food and other stops and sanity. But yeah, we're being safe out here. We are staying distant, and we are masked, and we are not going around and hanging around with other people. And yeah, that's the name of the game. It's pandemic time.
Yeah, good deal. Well, be safe out there, Jack. We'll look forward to talking to you again tomorrow. And then also. Back at the studio, we had Michael Baylor. Michael, thank you for everything you do to make these